Today's problem, string to integer, or in short, atoi, implied we have to import my atoi, which takes a string as input and converts it to a 32-bit signed integer, similar to the function that we have in C or C++ programming languages. We have to follow the list of rules. We first have to read in and ignore any leading white spaces. So no matter how many white spaces we have, until the number, we'll just read them and omit them. We have to check if the next character, if it's not already at the end of the string, is minus or plus sign, so we can have negative or positive numbers. And this will determine if the number is negative or positive. We have to assume that result is positive if neither is present. So if you don't have a specific implicit sign, the number is positive. We have to read then in next the characters until the next non-digit character or the end of the input is reached. The rest of the string can be ignored. So to convert these digits into an integer, we have, for example, 1, 2, 3. So this will be 123. And as you can see here, we have leading zeros, so this will be converted to 32. If no digits were read, then the integer is just 0. We have to change the sign as necessary, as we described in step 2. Then we have the following rule that if the integer is out of the bound of integer max and integer min, we have to clamp it so that specifically the integers that are less from the mid integer, we have to clamp it to the exact value of min integer, and the same goes for the integers that are greater than the maximum value of the integers. Then we just return the integer as our final result. There are some notes that only the space character, white space, can be considered a white space character. And we cannot ignore any characters or other than the leading white space or the rest of the string after the digits have been read. Now for the examples, we have in the first example 42, which is basically only digits are present in string, no white space, no letters, no plus or minus signs, nothing. So only 42 is read, and the parsed integer is 42. And because it's in the valid range, we just return the integer 42. We have, as you can see, multiple white spaces. Then we have minus, and then 42. So we read the minus and then the same digit 42. The parsed integer is minus 42, and so we just return it because it's inside the range, valid range. Next, we have the following string, 4193, and then we have only the letters, but we can ignore the rest of the string and only return the digits and actually the number that these digits make. In this case, it will be this number, and it's inside the valid range, so we just return it. The string length can be from 0 to 200, and the string can consist of English letter, lowercase and uppercase, the digits, white space, plus, minus, and also a dot. So basically, the whole problem boils down to successfully handling the edge cases and following the rules that are present in the problem statement. Next, we will solve the problem following the rules from the problem statement. Just quickly scroll to the rules. We will first declare our loop variable that will just iterate over the string starting from the first position. Next, we will have two booleans. One is to determine if the number inside the string is negative. So if it's negative, we'll turn our isNegative flag to true. And also the second boolean that we have is clamp in case our number is lesser than the minimum integer value or greater than the maximum integer value. Next, we will initialize our number to 0, and we will be adding up on this number as we move through the digits that are present in the string. We will also declare a character, previous character, and we will put the initial value for it as null. Next, we will traverse the string as long as we have characters, or as long as the character that we are currently at is not a digit. So this is to see if we have a valid integer, and also to skip over all the white spaces. So in cases if we have a minus sign, we have to check that it's not the last character in the string, and that we have some remaining digits, so that that combination successfully forms a negative number. So we have to check if the next character is digit, if the current character is the minus symbol. And in that case, we have to set our Boolean is negative to true. Then we have a few checks. We first check if the current character is a letter, or if it's a dot. And then we have a few rules. So if our current letter, if our current symbol is minus and our previous symbol was plus, that's an invalid string, so we have to return 0. We cannot have minus and plus together. The same goes for the combination plus and minus in the opposite reverse order. Also, in this case, so we return 0. And if we skip this, so if we have a valid string up to this point, we will put our the current character as the previous, and we will also increment our iterator that traverses over the string. Once we are done with this first while loop, we know that we hit our first digit, and until as long as we have a digit, we will keep on adding it up to the number. We are forming our number now. So first we will increment the number by 10 to see if we will multiply it by 10 to see if it goes over the maximum value of integer. And if it does, we will just set the clamp to true, because in that case, we know it will be larger than the maximal value of integer. So we will multiply the first one. The first step was only the check. Now we will do the actual computation. We will multiply the current number by 10 to shift the current digits that we have already taken to the left side. Next, we will take the current digit, and we will check what happens if we add that digit again to the number that we have so far. In the case if it goes over the integer max value, then we know that we have to set the clamp to true. And then we again, as we did in the line 21, we multiply the number by 10. In this case, we just add the current digit, and this digit will be just shifted to the left side in the next iteration, where we multiply again by 10. And again, we just increment our iterator. After we are done with this loop, we check if the clamp and negative is set to true. In that case, we have a integer that's larger than the max integer, but its sign is negative. So we have to return the minimum value of the integer. We have to clamp to the minimum value of integer. In the other case, if the number is not negative, but we still are over the maximum value of integer, we have to clamp to the maximum value of integer. If the number is negative, so we have a number that's lesser than the maximum value of integer, we just multiply it by -1 to change its sign. And then in the base case, we just have a raw value of the number, and we just return it as our final result. Since we don't have any additional data structure, the space complexity is constant, and for the time complexity, we just iterate over the in the worst case scenario, we iterate over the whole string, and so that means that we have linear time complexity is proportional to the length of the input string.